The battlefield is filled with deception, courage, and chaos. In one daring encounter, a Ukrainian soldier managed to outwit two unsuspecting Russian troops. By skillfully pretending to be part of their unit, he gained their trust and walked alongside them as though nothing were amiss. For a time, the three moved together, talking casually, unaware of the trap unfolding. The Ukrainian soldier, waiting for the perfect opportunity, carefully maneuvered into position. When the moment came, he drew his weapon and acted decisively. Reports confirmed that the two Russian soldiers did not survive the encounter. Meanwhile, in the skies, another extraordinary incident unfolded. Two Russian Su-25 Frogfoot attack aircraft were on a mission, but the operation took a shocking turn. Without warning, the trailing pilot opened fire on his own wingman. Flames engulfed the aircraft as the stricken pilot ejected, watching helplessly from his parachute as his jet disintegrated in a spectacular explosion. The cause remains unclear. Perhaps confusion, perhaps a technical malfunction, or even a personal dispute. Whatever the reason, the result was devastating. Another loss in Russia's already troubled air campaign. On the ground, Ukrainian intelligence tracked a Russian supply convoy moving under the protection of two heavily armed Mi-24 helicopters, one outfitted with advanced reconnaissance systems. But the escort proved vulnerable. A Ukrainian soldier launched an Igla portable air defense missile, striking one of the helicopters and sending it crashing to the earth. Moments later, a Ukrainian MiG-29 entered the skies. The fighter jet unleashed precision-guided missiles against Russian ammunition depots. Explosions erupted in sequence, captured clearly on video from multiple angles. A second strike obliterated a Russian command center, leaving behind plumes of fire and smoke. From the earliest days of the war, Russia had sought to dominate the air, believing aviation would dictate the pace and scope of the conflict. But reality diverged sharply from the plan. Confusion reigned, and Russian forces sometimes found themselves attacking their own assets. Even reconnaissance drones became liabilities, exposing expensive warplanes and disrupting operations meant to solidify control of the skies. On the front lines, a fierce artillery duel raged. Russian tanks pressed forward despite heavy shelling, maneuvering along battered dirt roads as they pushed closer to Ukrainian defenses. Ukrainian infantry prepared for the assault, waiting in their trenches as enemy armor approached. Suddenly, a shell struck one tank directly, while another triggered a hidden mine. Immobilized, the vehicles became targets for drones circling overhead. Precision strikes set them ablaze, forcing the Russians to press on with fewer assets. A mine-clearing tank surged ahead, detonating yet another hidden charge, but continuing its advance through smoke and fire. Just as it neared Ukrainian positions, a soldier fired an anti-tank guided missile, striking with devastating accuracy. Still, the Russians pushed on. Armored personnel carriers attempted flanking maneuvers, one destroyed instantly by a drone strike, another unloading infantry under heavy fire. Ukrainian troops held firm, waiting for the right moment as chaos unfolded around them. Above, drones tracked every movement. Russian infantry scrambled for cover in charred tree lines, but were quickly spotted. Explosives rained down from strike drones, forcing them into trenches. A Russian tank advanced in support, only to grind to a halt. Disabled, it deployed a smoke screen, but remained stuck. A rescue tank arrived, but was immediately targeted and destroyed by another Ukrainian drone. The attempt failed, leaving both vehicles burning wrecks. Panic spread through the Russian lines as infantry desperately sought cover, knowing drones circled overhead. Beyond the battlefield, Ukraine's strategy has evolved to include deep strikes on critical infrastructure within Russia itself. Energy hubs, pipelines, refineries, railway lines, and power substations have all been hit. The goal: to cripple logistics, slow troop movements, and strain the backbone of Russia's war effort. These strikes serve dual purposes. Militarily, they force delays, fuel shortages, and broken supply lines. Economically, they raise costs, disrupt production, and cause scarcity. Psychologically, they remind Russia's population that the war is not confined to distant front lines. It can reach their homes, their cities, and their daily lives. Modern drones and long-range UAVs give Ukraine the ability to bypass radar, reaching deep into enemy territory to strike targets once thought untouchable. The impact is disproportionate. Even a single successful strike can ripple through Russia's logistics network, creating cascading failures that weaken its ability to sustain the war. At the same time, Ukraine has steadily strengthened its layered air defense systems. Russian aircraft are forced to operate at lower altitudes and greater distances, exposing them to increased risk. In recent weeks, Ukrainian defenses have shot down Su-25s, Su-34s, and multiple attack helicopters, reducing Russia's ability to support its ground forces. With supply depots destroyed and reinforcements delayed, gaps have appeared along the Russian front lines. Ukraine has exploited these vulnerabilities with rapid local assaults, backed by mobile artillery and drone swarms. Even small territorial gains under such conditions carry outsized importance, creating staging grounds for future operations and forcing Russia to stretch its already weakened forces thinner. In the coming weeks, Ukrainian strikes are expected to intensify further. New long-range systems will expand the reach of attacks, particularly against Crimea and the occupied southern coast. Improved logistics, continuous rotation of combat units, and integration of Western-supplied air defense and counter-battery systems enhance Ukraine's capabilities. What is unfolding is not a war of a single decisive battle, but a war of attrition, methodical, precise, and relentless. By targeting logistics, striking deep into enemy territory, and maintaining constant pressure, Ukraine is gradually eroding Russia's ability to coordinate, supply, and sustain its forces. Day by day, position by position, the Russian war machine is being forced into retreat. And while the front line remains fluid and brutal, the broader trend is unmistakable, a slow but steady collapse of the systems that once fueled Russia's advance.